Welcome back, and moving to the interesting segment. Today we are going to dive back in history, thousands of years. And as we are celebrating women's and praising women this month, and which is called March is the month of women, we are going to go back thousands of years and see the status of women in the ancient Egypt and how women had a different status than today. They were honored and they shaped the future of the ancient Egypt. They changed history as a whole. Women played an important role as a queen and as a slave and as a mother. In different fields, women had an impact in the Egyptian history, and it was evidenced in all the statues and in the temples, on the walls of the temples, that tells stories of how women played an important role. And in this regard, we are joined today by Mrs. Hend Salah, and she is a lecturer at the Faculty of Archaeology. Hello and welcome.
Hello, thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me in your honorable channel. As well, I would like to congratulate every woman by her day or by her month, which is called the month of the mother or the woman.
Yes, and it is the year of women as well here in Egypt, yes. If we can speak more about the pharaohs and the other civilizations that we have witnessed in the past, how do you think that we can prove that the Egyptians in the past, in the civilization of the pharaohs and the dynasties that we have seen in the past, how did they treat women honorably, as Dina said?
Yes, in fact, the ancient Egyptian society treated women very well. She enjoyed an honorable status in her society. Because if we look forward or backward in the history, we will see that in the ancient Egyptian history, women were very, very, very important in the society if we compare it by other ancient society. As for example, in the societies of the Near East or the Orient, women didn't enjoy the most remarkable status that was enjoyed by the Egyptian women. As for example, you can see that women can be inherited in the other ancient culture. But in contrast, ancient Egyptian woman was responsible for her house. She has her own property. She can choose even her husband. She was really free in her society. And we have many examples as well that women enjoyed a remarkable ranks in the society. She can be a judge, she can be a vizier, or she can be a mistress of the pharaohs. This was an important title for the women. She also enjoyed to be a physician, and we have many examples for physicians to be like the chef of physician, like the woman called Bethshet from the 25th century before the Christ. So really women enjoyed a very important role in the ancient Egyptian society.
Yes.
What are the information that is available to us nowadays that tell us that women played an important role years ago? And what are the a kind of story that you're going to tell us today about how women also were important?
Yes, we have many sources. If we can start by the religion, which was the important part in the ancient Egyptian life and belief. As for example, we have the goddess Isis. She was a symbol of the motherhood. She was a loyal wife for her husband, of course, Osiris. She was the one who brought up her son to take the revenge of Osiris. This was a myth that played an important role in the mind of the Egyptian. It can signify the victory of the good over evil. As well, from many sources, from papyrus, from the tombs, the walls of the tombs and the walls of the temples, we see that ancient Egyptian women were stand side by side with the men. She was so unified in these scenes. She was as a goddess, for example, Isis was mistress of motherhood as well. We can see the ancient Egyptian society make a god called Sishat. She was a goddess of the knowledge and writing. She invented knowledge in the world, as well as she invented the script, which is called the Demotic script. So her mind was honorified so much. She was the inventor of the knowledge in the whole world. As well, from many tombs, we can see that women not only were important in religion, but in all ranks of the society. We have those who were worked as businesswomen. We have a woman called Nefer. Her commerce reached what we can call the Near East. She was a businesswoman, and she was administrating, and she has a rule over many men under her control. As well, we can see also that many women reached to be as chief in the granaries or in the many important places in the administrative of the Egyptian society.
Yes, the ancient Egyptians also loved their families and their homes, and they saw family and home as a source of delight.
Yes, of course.
Yes, how can they prove that, or how did they emphasize that?
Yes, thank you for this question. We have many papyrus for what we call in archaeology instructions. Like those of Betahotep, the instruction of Betahotep to his son. He tell him that you have to marry, and before you marry, you must be able to know the responsibility of the marriage and the family, and of constituting a family, because family is a kind of a good thing that man must do in his life. He told him to appreciate his wife, his children. He must make him go to school, for example. He must be very, very romantic with his wife. He must say her beautiful words. He must appreciate her. As well, we have in the instruction of Annie from the 16th century BC, he told his son and everyone which to marry to choose a good wife, because this wife will be the mistress of his house. She will be the chef of the house. She will control everything in the house. And this was not offensive in the Egyptian society, but this was very appreciated for the role of the woman in this society. We can see also that many of the families, the son was related to his mother's name, not his father's. So I think that the ancient Egyptian appreciated women in every aspect, as well appreciated how to make a family, and according to some rules, in order to make this family progress in its life.
Okay, we know a very important women and very powerful women of ancient Egypt, like, for example, Cleopatra, although she was not an Egyptian woman, but she played a very significant role in the future of the ancient Egypt. Also, we have Queen Nefertiti and Nefertari. They are very famous in the ancient Egypt, and they played, of course, a very important role. And to reach that rank, of course, it must be by the help of men and by the help of the community. So could you tell us more about women in ancient Egypt as a queen?
Yes, very important question as well, because in its words we can see a hint for the importance for the mind of the women. Yes, they reached to be a part of the royal court, as you have said, the Cleopatra, Nefertiti, and Nefertari. As well, we have most ancient examples, like that of Hotep, the wife of Seknen Ra, and the mother of Ahmus and Camus. She was the one who controlled the country in its war against the Hyksos. She witnessed the death of her husband, Seknen Ra, and her son, Camus. But she encouraged her son, Ahmus, to gather all the country and to make control over the army. And she collected all the sources and make her son do this success of the Hyksos, and constituted what we called in the archaeology the new kingdom, which began by the victory over the Hyksos. As well, I would like to say that her son Ahmus dedicated for her braveness in these circumstances, a pictorial called the Pictorial of Braveness, dedicated her for her soul. Because of her rule in controlling the army of Egypt, and this pictorial was not dedicated to women, but it was dedicated for the brave warriors only of the army of the ancient Egypt. So she was the first woman to take this pictorial for her braveness and her rule in the society. As well, we have another woman, it's called T. She was also in the New Kingdom. She was the mother of Amenhotep IV, or Akhenaton. As you know, Akhenaton brought a new concept or religion which emphasized the rule of the god Eddin, or the god of the sun. But accordingly, ancient Egyptian society, I think that they were so insisting on the old traditions. So many of the parts of the Egyptian society didn't accept the new concept of Akhenaton. So T, his mother, tried to control the country and to make them loyal to her son in order to take Egypt to the peaceful side, not to be the wars between the ancient Egyptian in the same society. As well, she was a very good woman, and she was not from the royal court, by the way, because her father were called Yoya and Toya. They were her father Yoya was the overseer of chariots. And when Amenhotep III, her husband, and the father of Amenhotep IV, saw her, he liked her so much because of her strong personality, and then she became one of the most important royal women in the ancient Egyptian society, which was not from the royal court.
So how were mothers seen in the civilization of the pharaohs? How were they praised and appreciated?
They were so appreciated as well, as for example, the rule of Amenhotep and T and Tetisheri, as well, many mothers. But the mother in the ordinary society were also appreciated, because we have many papyrus that discussed the rule of the mother. She was the one who was responsible to bring up her children from the very beginning, from the pregnancy. When the woman feels that she is pregnant, she takes care of herself. She go to the temples. She makes some statues for goddess called Taweret and 7 Hathors in order to prevent her pregnancy as well. After this, after giving birth to her child, she also take care of him until the age of entering the school. And this age is so important for educating whether the masculine or the feminine, the female or the boy or the girl, because it was important in the ancient Egyptian society to make them educated, because it is related to the concept of religion, because education has a relation with the ma'at, which is called the truth. And in the ancient Egyptian mind, the world was created through this concept, through the ma'at. So educating was important in order to reinforce this meaning. It was the responsibility of the mother in the family. So she can make her son or girl go to the school in order to be educated or well educated in this society.
Yes.
Okay, and of course, it's evident that the status of women in ancient Egypt is very different and unique. So, in times of war, how did the ancient Egyptian women played a role?
Yes, for the royal women, they can take part of making plans in order to control the country, or in order to be in the image of the politics. Like, for example, the royal woman T, the mother of Akhenaton, she was, by her name, the many contracts between, like for example, Tushrata, the king of in the Near East, between them and her son, were signed by her name. As well, in the ordinary, not only the royal woman, and the ordinary time, women or mothers in the traditional time, or in everything, were always trying to what can I say, to make their houses feeling with support, moral support as well, feeding as well, like we do in these days. She taking care of her house, meaning that she is taking care of her country. She must control her house, the source in the house, in order to control the country.
Yes, and speaking of country, in times of danger,
yes,
in the ancient times, how did women prepare their sons and their men to be fighting for their country?
Yes, by reinforcing the meaning of loyalty for the country. Because country in ancient Egypt was the land of everything.
Was there a concept for martyrdom, to be dying for your country as we have now?
Yes. In the papyrus, many papyrus or many texts and ostraka, which is small pieces of pottery, we can see even conversation that is trying to reinforcing the meaning for the children, for the small youth, how country is important to how Egypt is important for us. We must prevent any dangers to enter. Many hieroglyphic texts and Demotic as well Coptic texts mention this concept between the ancient Egyptian society from the poor until the royal woman. We can see this in many aspects in the ancient Egyptian society.
Yes.
Okay, Dr. Hend Salah Eddin, a lecturer at the Faculty of Archaeology. Thank you very much for joining us, and welcome once again to Nile Cruise.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Right now we'll be going out for a quick break and cruise online.